Imagine for a moment that Napoleon Hill could stand before you today. That the man who spent over 20 years studying the greatest minds of his time, Carnegie, Edison, Ford, could witness the world you and I now live in. What would he say about the rise of digital empires built from bedrooms, about masterminds forming on Discord, or fortunes made through the power of pure thought, broadcasted to millions on YouTube and TikTok? Well, let us step into that vision together. Let me speak to you now in the voice of Hill himself, not as a ghost from the past, but as the living spirit of the principles he taught. Because what he wrote in 1937 is happening now, and it may just change your life if you listen.
Ladies and gentlemen, I must tell you, I am not surprised by what I see in the world today. In fact, I predicted it. Long ago, in 1937, I wrote of invisible forces, of thoughts becoming things, of desire transforming into riches, of fear paralyzing the minds of men. And now, nearly a century later, those truths are no longer whispered in the halls of philosophers. They are being lived, broadcasted, and monetized on screens around the world. You see influencers preaching mindset, entrepreneurs forming masterminds, teenagers building empires from bedrooms, artificial intelligence responding to thought commands. And still, the same enemies I warned you about remain: fear, procrastination, and indecision. I urge you, listen closely today, for the prophecy has arrived, and whether you rise with it or fall behind is up to you. 1, the power of thought is the starting point of wealth. You have heard it said that thoughts become things. That is no mere slogan. It is truth, eternal and unchanging. When I wrote Think and Grow Rich, I opened with this idea not by accident, but by design. Truly, thoughts are things, I wrote, not figuratively and literally. Every invention, every fortune, every transformation of man, from poverty to riches, began with but one invisible, intangible force: a thought. In 1937, many dismissed this as philosophy. Today, it is science. It is business. It is the very operating system of modern achievement. Look around you. The world has caught up with this truth. You hear people speak of manifestation, of vision boards, of frequency, and alignment. Coaches teach mindset as their chief product. Entire industries have risen around one fundamental idea: that your inner world creates your outer world. And though the words may have changed, the law remains the same. You become what you think about, persistently, emotionally, and with belief. You do not need to know how, for the how will appear after the why has burned itself into your subconscious. The man or woman who holds a clear, definite picture in their mind and fuels it daily with desire will soon see circumstances bend in their favor. This is no accident, it is law. Now, consider the tools you hold in your hands today. Artificial intelligence, a machine that responds to your thoughts, your commands, your intentions. Have you not realized? You are now living in a world where your thoughts can produce results almost instantly. You type a prompt, an idea, into a machine, and it gives back creation. Just as I taught that a thought, when mixed with faith, becomes a physical reality. You are now seeing that happen with lines of code. But beware, this power works both ways. For if your thoughts are filled with doubt, you will attract delay. If your thoughts are filled with fear, you will draw obstacles. That too is law. Do not treat your thoughts as light or idle things. They are seeds. Plant carelessly and you will reap chaos, but plant deliberately with clarity, persistence, and purpose, and you will reap success that appears almost magical to others. Understand this. The mind is not merely a mirror of the world. It is a magnet. You do not describe reality. You create it. The most successful people of your time, the creators, the entrepreneurs, the visionaries, They are not luckier than you. They have simply mastered the art of thought. They decide what they want. They believe it is possible. They hold it in their minds until it hardens into fact. And so I ask you, what are you thinking right now? What thought are you allowing to dominate the corridors of your mind? Because that thought, if held long enough, will become your life. Second, mastermind groups. There is a mysterious power that forms when two or more minds come together in harmony, a power greater than the sum of its parts. I call this the mastermind principle, and I assure you it is as real as gravity, though invisible to the naked eye. When I studied the industrial titans of my era, men like Andrew Carnegie, Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, I found they each relied on a close-knit circle of trusted minds. Not yes men, not employees, but equals, collaborators, visionaries, each man contributing thought, energy, insight, and drawing from the collective intelligence of the group. Now look around you today. You call them communities, masterminds, accelerators, Discord servers, Telegram groups. The labels have changed. The principle has not. When people gather in the spirit of collaboration, not competition, they tap into something extraordinary, something beyond individual intellect. You must understand, no man achieves lasting success alone. The lone genius is a myth. Every great leader, every prosperous entrepreneur has a network behind them, a council, a mastermind, whether formal or informal, paid or earned. You are now living in an era where access to such minds is no longer limited by geography or wealth. In my time, assembling a mastermind meant face-to-face meetings, long letters, rigid formality. Today, you can reach out to a kindred spirit across the globe in seconds. You can join a room filled with brilliant, driven individuals, some of whom may be total strangers, and create momentum that would have taken decades in the past. But beware, a mastermind is not merely a group chat or a forum. It is not noise. It is not casual talk or idle gossip. A true mastermind is forged by purpose. It requires unity of vision, mutual respect, commitment. When these conditions are met, a third mind, intangible but powerful, is born, and it begins to guide the group almost supernaturally. Great fortunes have started in rooms just like that. Ideas sharpened, fears diminished, actions clarified, all because of the collective mind. I predicted this would become essential. And now, in your world of instant connectivity and information overload, it is critical. You must choose your associations with care. The minds you allow around you will shape your results more than your education, your resources, or your upbringing. Join a group that challenges you. Surround yourself with people who demand more from life, who think big, act bold, and refuse to settle. In that environment, your own thoughts will rise. Your belief will grow. Your limitations will shrink. Remember this. The mastermind is not a luxury. It is a necessity. Success is not built in isolation. It is born in communion. If you are serious about your dreams, go find your tribe or build it. But never walk the path alone when you could march with a battalion of minds, united in purpose, unstoppable in force. 3, specialized knowledge beats general education. There is a dangerous illusion that has persisted through the ages. The belief that general knowledge alone is the key to success. I am here to tell you that it is not. Knowledge in and of itself is not power. It becomes power only when it is organized, focused, and directed toward a definite purpose. In Think and Grow Rich, I warned against mistaking education for wisdom or information for progress. A man may possess an alphabet of degrees and yet live in poverty. Why? Because he has gathered knowledge the way a squirrel gathers nuts, without order, without use, and without purpose. What matters then and now is specialized knowledge. the kind that is directly connected to your aim in life, the kind that can be applied with precision to solve a problem, serve a need, or create value in the marketplace. And look at your world today. My prediction has not only come true, it has become the new gold rush. You are now living in a time when formal education is no longer the only or even the best path to riches. The young man who studies digital marketing from YouTube tutorials, the woman who learns sales from an online course, the creator who sells their expertise as an info product, these individuals are doing what I wrote about nearly a century ago. They are acquiring knowledge, not in bulk, but in focus, not for display, but for utility. Your economy now rewards the one who learns how to do a thing, not merely speak of it. The one who can edit a video, code an app, write copy that sells, build an audience, close a sale, that person holds specialized knowledge and therefore leverage. This leverage can be turned into freedom, income, and impact without ever stepping foot inside a university. I am not condemning formal education, no more than I would condemn a library. But a library is only as useful as the man who knows what he's looking for, and far too many have traded years and fortunes for general instruction and emerged with little more than a framed piece of paper and a mountain of debt. Do you wish to succeed? Then ask yourself, what specific skill, insight, or solution can I master that the world is willing to pay for? That is the question the rich ask. That is the question the fulfilled pursue. Specialized knowledge can be learned from books, yes, but also from experience, mentors, failures, and modern guides who walk the talk. Your creators, your course instructors, your coaches, they are not charlatans if they have results. They are the new professors of practical wealth. Never in history has it been easier to acquire such knowledge. It is at your fingertips, but only if you are willing to seek it out and apply it with discipline. Remember this, success does not come to the most informed, it comes to the most aligned, those who learn with intention and act with clarity. Choose wisely what you learn, and then use it boldly. 4, decision over indecision. Successful people decide quickly. One of the most telling traits of every great achiever I ever studied, from Carnegie to Ford, from Edison to Rockefeller, was their ability to make decisions quickly and change them rarely, if at all. In contrast, the unsuccessful, the mediocre, the dreamers who never build, they suffer from a disease far more dangerous than ignorance. They suffer from indecision. I warned of this long ago because I saw the pattern with unflinching clarity. Indecision leads to doubt. Doubt leads to fear. And fear, once it takes root, paralyzes the will and kills all action. The man who cannot decide will find himself overtaken by those who can, even if they possess half his intellect or resources. And now, in your world, in this fast, digital, hyper-connected age, my prediction has become more urgent than ever before. The speed at which opportunity appears and disappears has multiplied 1,000-fold. Today, success favors the decisive, the creator who launches before it's perfect, the entrepreneur who tests an idea with a minimum viable product and adapts as they go, the small business owner who acts on feedback without overthinking. These are the ones who win, not because they are always right, but because they are always moving. Do not mistake speed for recklessness. The truly successful decide quickly because they have developed the habit of trust in themselves, in their intuition, in their vision. They are not paralyzed by the need to know everything before taking the first step. They understand that clarity comes through action, not before it. I ask you, how many dreams have you buried because you weren't ready? How many ideas have you watched others bring to life while you hesitated, researched, doubted, and delayed? You have been taught to gather data, to analyze, to wait for certainty. But in a world that moves at the speed of a tweet, hesitation is a form of self-sabotage. The internet does not wait. The market does not pause. Algorithms do not reward perfection. They reward consistency, boldness, and speed. The man who launches now and learns on the way will always outpace the one who plans endlessly and launches never. I say to you what I said in 1937. Successful people make decisions quickly and firmly. Unsuccessful people make decisions slowly and change them often. And if you believe your problem is lack of knowledge, think again. Often what you call research is merely fear in disguise. The answer you seek is not in another book, another course, or another opinion. It is in the doing. You must become the kind of person who moves, who commits, who trusts that no decision is perfect, but any decision is better than standing still. Life will meet you halfway, but only once you take the first step. So decide today, now, not next week, not once you've figured it all out. Your destiny is shaped not by what you want, but by what you decide to do about it. 5, persistence as the key to overcoming failure. If I could distill the difference between those who wish for success and those who achieve it, I would give you but one word: persistence. Persistence, the iron quality of character that refuses to quit, the unseen force that keeps a man moving forward when everything around him screams to turn back, the quiet resolve to try again and again and again until the wall finally breaks. In Think and Grow Rich, I made this clear. Those who win are those who keep going, not those with the most talent, not those with the highest IQ, not those with the best timing, but those with the grit to stay in the game longer than anyone else. Now look at your world today. You live in the age of instant gratification, likes, views, comments, viral videos. Success seems to come overnight. But if you pull back the curtain, you'll find something far more ancient at play: persistence. That YouTuber who blew up, they posted for 5 years without applause. The entrepreneur who sold their startup for millions, they failed 3 times before they found the model that worked. The creator who built an empire on social media, they were ignored for years, creating in silence with no promise of reward. You see only the highlight reel. What you don't see are the hundreds of days behind closed doors where nothing happened and yet they continued. That is persistence. And I predicted this very pattern. I knew that the world would reward the one who could endure, who could face failure, rejection, mockery, and still rise, because failure is not the end. It is only the price of admission. Most people give up just before the tide turns. They quit at the first, second, or third obstacle. But life does not yield its treasures to the weak-willed. It tests you. It asks, how badly do you want it? And your answer is not given in words. It is given in effort. Persistence in your age is your greatest competitive advantage. Why? Because most have lost it. They start a project and abandon it. They chase motivation instead of building discipline. They confuse slow progress with no progress and retreat before the seeds they planted have time to grow. But you, if you are to rise, must be different. Understand this. Every failure, every delay, every rejection is simply part of the process, not a signal to quit, but a signal to keep going, to refine, to adjust, to evolve. You do not need to be brilliant. You do not need a perfect plan. You need only the stubbornness to keep swinging. The gold lies deeper than most are willing to dig. And those who press on day after day, long after the thrill has faded, will one day strike something that others will call luck, when in truth it was persistence. So I ask you now, will you endure? Will you keep going after the applause is stopped, after the numbers stall, after the world goes silent? Because if you do it, you cannot be stopped. 6, The subconscious mind responds to repetition. The mind is not governed by chance. It is governed by law. And the greatest of these laws, the one most often ignored and yet most responsible for all success and failure, is this: the subconscious mind responds to repetition. Whatever you plant in it, whether fear or faith, doubt or determination, will grow, so long as it is fed with emotion and repetition. Your subconscious does not filter. It does not question. It does not judge. It simply accepts. And then it begins to work day and night to make that idea real in your life. When I wrote this nearly a century ago, most scoffed. They believed in action, not thought. They trusted the physical, not the invisible. But now in your time, my prediction echoes louder than ever. Look around. You call them affirmations, morning routines, vision boards. You speak of mindset, vibration, alignment. These are new words for old truths. And at the heart of them all is repetition. Deliberate, consistent, emotionally charged repetition. And what is more, you now have proof. Neuroscience confirms what I observed through experience. The brain rewires itself through repetition. New thoughts, when repeated often enough, become beliefs. Beliefs shape perception, and perception becomes the lens through which you create your life. But let me go further. Your technology now mirrors this truth. The social media algorithms that dominate your attention are built on repetition. They do not promote the best content. They promote the most consistent. The creators who post day after day, not the most talented, but the most committed, are the ones who rise. The algorithm in this way is a reflection of the subconscious. It rewards what it sees repeatedly. It shapes reality based on frequency, not quality. And the same is true of your mind. If you tell yourself every day, I am capable, I am clear, I am committed, your subconscious begins to believe it. And once it believes, it works to prove it true by drawing to you the people, ideas, and opportunities that align with that identity. But if you repeat, I'm not ready, I don't know how, I never finish anything, you will live that out with eerie precision, not because it's your destiny, but because it's your programming. I said this in 1937, and I'll say it again now. Repetition of thought is the only known method of voluntary development of the emotionalized faith necessary to convert desire into its physical equivalent. Do not take this lightly. Your daily habits, the words you speak to yourself, the content you consume, the thoughts you dwell on, these are not harmless. They are instructions to the part of your mind that never sleeps, and it is always listening. So repeat wisely. Repeat with purpose. Create a ritual, a rhythm, a routine, because repetition is not boring. It is creative. It is how you install belief, build momentum, and become unstoppable. The greatest minds in history understood this. And now, with the tools you have, journals, recordings, reminders, screens, you have no excuse. Program your mind, or it will be programmed for you. 7, fear is the greatest enemy. There is a silent killer that has plagued humanity for centuries, more insidious than any physical disease, more crippling than any obstacle. It is the great enemy of success, the silent force that holds back even the most talented and promising individuals. That enemy is fear. Fear is not simply the fear of physical harm. No, its true power lies in the fear of judgment, the fear of failure, the fear of rejection. It is the fear of looking foolish, of being vulnerable, of showing your true self to the world and having it judged unworthy. In my day, I observed that fear was the single greatest force that stopped people from achieving their dreams. It paralyzed them. It led them to stay in jobs they hated, to avoid taking risks, to make choices that kept them comfortable. and mediocre. I called this fear the enemy of achievement. But the enemy doesn't just lurk in dark corners of your mind. It follows you into the light in every decision, every action, every moment. Now, in your modern world, fear has evolved, but it is no less potent. Today, you are surrounded by an unprecedented level of judgment. In the past, the judgment came from your family, your friends, or your community. Today, it comes from the whole world. You post something online, and within seconds, thousands of eyes are scrutinizing your every move, your every word. The fear of what others think, what they'll say about you, is a suffocating force. This is the modern form of the fear I wrote about, and it is more dangerous now than ever before. We call it imposter syndrome. The fear that you're not good enough, that you're faking it, that you're not deserving of success. You fear that others will see through your facade and expose you as a fraud. But let me tell you this, everyone experiences imposter syndrome. Every successful person, every titan of industry, every artist, every entrepreneur has faced the same fear. But those who succeed do not let it define them. They move through it. The truth is this, fear will always be there. It is natural. It is human. But it is also the greatest liar you will ever encounter. Fear will tell you to wait until you're ready. Fear will tell you that you're not qualified. Fear will tell you that you'll fail, that you'll be judged, that you'll be rejected. But fear does not speak the language of success. Let me tell you something I have learned through years of studying those who rise above their circumstances. Success is not the absence of fear. Success is the willingness to act in spite of it. You will never feel 100% confident. You will never be free of self-doubt. But the successful person is the one who moves forward despite these feelings. They face their fears head on, and in doing so, they conquer them. In your world, the fear of judgment, of failure, of rejection is more pronounced than ever. But if you let it control you, you will never reach your potential. You will remain small, unseen, unheard. The cost of inaction is far greater than the cost of failure. The only way to beat fear is to take action. Show up, fail forward, learn from rejection, build resilience. And above all, remember this, every step you take in the face of fear is a victory. Every time you push through the discomfort, you become stronger, braver, and closer to your goal. Fear is not your enemy, it is your teacher. And the only way to defeat it is to move through it. 8, the 6 ghosts of fear. There is a force darker than failure itself, more paralyzing than doubt, more dangerous than procrastination. This force is the true architect of defeat. It is not some external enemy. It is the fear that resides within the mind of every man and woman. It is the fear that holds them back, stifles their potential, and keeps them locked in mediocrity. I spoke of it in Think and Grow Rich as the 6 ghosts of fear. These fears, in my time, were powerful enough to stop progress. But now, in your era, they have grown stronger, more insidious, more pervasive. The first of these ghosts is the fear of poverty. It is the fear that drives the worker to toil for hours upon hours, yet never achieve the wealth that he craves. It is the fear that drives men to spend their days accumulating wealth, not for purpose, but for the safety it promises. Today, this fear has only become more amplified, for the very structure of your modern economy, the attention economy, thrives on making you feel inadequate. You are constantly told you need more followers, more likes, more material possessions. And yet, no matter how much you accumulate, you are never safe. The fear of poverty in the digital age is now perpetuated not just by your circumstances, but by the constant bombardment of comparison. The second ghost is the fear of criticism. No longer is it confined to the circles of your family or friends. Today, the fear of criticism looms over you on social media, where the opinions of thousands can shape your reputation in an instant. A single post, a single mistake can ruin your career. And so you hesitate. You second-guess every word, every action, afraid of the judgment that will follow. In my time, this fear was powerful. Today, it is amplified 1,000-fold by the public, immediate, and unforgiving nature of online platforms. The third ghost is the fear of ill health. In the past, this fear existed largely in the realm of sickness and disease. But today it has morphed into a far more insidious fear. With the constant flood of health information, the panic over wellness trends, and the never-ending cycle of fear surrounding pandemics, this ghost controls many. The media amplifies your vulnerabilities, and social media offers solutions, most of them fleeting or false, feeding your fear and making you believe you are always one step away from disaster. The fourth is the fear of loss of love. In my day, this fear existed within the confines of personal relationships. But today, it extends far beyond. In an age where attention is the currency of connection, this fear is no longer confined to romantic relationships. It has invaded every aspect of your life: social media friendships, business connections, and even your online reputation. You live in constant fear that you will be forgotten, left behind, or rejected by those whose approval you seek, and so you chase approval, often sacrificing authenticity for validation. The fifth ghost is the fear of old age. The world today tells you that youth is the only currency that matters, that the young are the successful, the innovative, the relevant. As you age, you fear being left behind, irrelevant, invisible. The media celebrates the young, while the old are often discarded. This fear, in the past, was a quiet companion. Today, it roars in the face of every aging soul, telling them that time is running out. And finally, there is the fear of death. In my day, the fear of death was often understood as an inevitable part of life. But in your age, it has evolved into a pervasive existential anxiety. With the constant fear of climate change, pandemics, and the uncertainty of the future, the fear of death haunts many. The constant bombardment of what-ifs, the possibility of disaster, the constant exposure to traumatic news magnifies this fear, and it shapes how you live, how you act, and how you make decisions. These 6 ghosts of fear, which I warned about decades ago, have become the silent rulers of your age. They have evolved, adapted, and intensified in this modern world, and they will stop you from achieving your potential unless you learn to confront them, dismiss them, and act in spite of them. 9. The power of a burning desire. Desire is the starting point of all achievement. It is the seed from which all success grows, but not just any desire. I am speaking of a burning desire, a desire so fierce, so intense, that it drives you through every obstacle, every challenge, every failure. It is the fire that cannot be extinguished by adversity, the passion that fuels action, and the clarity that propels you toward your goal, no matter the cost. In my work, I emphasize that this burning desire is the foundation upon which all success is built. Without it, there is no direction, no force, no momentum. Without it, you are like a ship without a rudder, drifting aimlessly. But when you cultivate a burning desire, you unlock the potential of your mind, your body, and your spirit. It becomes the driving force behind everything you do. And now, in your time, this burning desire has taken on new forms. You call it your why. You speak of goal setting, of creating vision boards, of establishing personal missions. But at the heart of all of these practices is the same concept I taught so many years ago, a burning desire to achieve a definite purpose. In the modern age, the power of this desire is more visible than ever. Entrepreneurs, creators, and innovators are driven not just by the pursuit of wealth or status, but by something far deeper, a mission, a personal mission to change the world, to solve a problem, to make a difference. This mission is not just a goal. It is the very fuel of their existence. It is what wakes them up in the morning and keeps them moving when the world tries to knock them down. The culture of your time is built on the importance of why. This is a reflection of my teachings, though you may not realize it. When you align your work with a deep personal why, you become unstoppable. Your desire is no longer a fleeting thought. It is a permanent internal fire that drives you forward with relentless intensity. But this burning desire is not just about motivation. It is about clarity. The most successful people do not wander aimlessly. They know exactly what they want, and they are willing to sacrifice for it. They have a vision, a clear and compelling picture of their success, and they are willing to pay any price to achieve it. This burning desire manifests in many ways today through the relentless drive of entrepreneurs launching startups with little more than an idea, through creators who pour their hearts into their craft, through leaders who sacrifice their comfort for a cause they believe in. These individuals are not motivated by money alone. No, their desire is deeper than that. It is their why, and it is all-consuming. In your world, the power of this burning desire is more accessible than ever before. You have the tools, the technology, and the platforms to turn your vision into reality. But you must first cultivate the burning desire that will fuel your journey. Without it, your actions will be weak, your commitment will be fleeting, and your success will be limited. The fire within you is your greatest asset. Harness it, feed it, let it burn so brightly that nothing, no setback, no obstacle can extinguish it. Because when your desire burns hot enough, there is nothing in this world that can stand in your way. 10, your environment shapes you. The environment in which you live, work, and think plays a far greater role in shaping your success than most realize. You are not an isolated individual, unaffected by the world around you. No, you are shaped by the people you interact with, the ideas you consume, and the energies you allow to influence your mind. The principle is simple. Your environment will either elevate you or pull you down. It will either empower you to reach great heights, or it will confine you to the small, mediocre existence you so desperately wish to escape. In my day, I spoke of the power of your mastermind group, the people with whom you associate. I stressed that if you surround yourself with those who are negative, small-minded, or uninspired, you will quickly find yourself adopting those same traits. On the other hand, if you surround yourself with those who are positive, driven, and forward-thinking, you will rise to meet those same standards. The power of your environment was never just about the physical place you inhabit, but about the ideas and energy you allow into your life. Today, this same principle is more relevant than ever, though it has evolved in a new form. Your environment no longer consists solely of the people in your immediate physical proximity. No, now your environment is largely digital. It is shaped by your social media feed, by the accounts you follow, by the content you consume. In an instant, you are exposed to thousands of voices, ideas, and perspectives, and these influence you just as much as the people you interact with face to face. Think about it. Every day you scroll through your feed, absorbing whatever content it presents to you. What do you see? Who are you following? What messages are you consuming? Are they positive, uplifting, and aligned with your goals? Or do they drag you into negativity, comparison, and distraction? Just as the people around you once shaped your mindset, the digital content you consume today shapes your mindset. The power of social media is undeniable. It connects you with like-minded individuals, exposes you to new ideas, and brings opportunities directly to your doorstep. But it can also be a dangerous environment if you are not careful. If you follow accounts that perpetuate fear, envy, or self-doubt, you will find yourself constantly comparing your life to others, feeling inadequate and powerless. Just as I once taught that the environment of your physical surroundings could determine your success, I now tell you that your digital environment will do the same. It is crucial to be mindful of the content you consume, the people you follow, and the thoughts you allow into your mind. If you want to rise to greatness, you must curate an environment that fuels your growth, that challenges you, inspires you, and keeps you focused on your goals. The principle is unchanged. Your environment shapes you. It always has, and it always will. So choose wisely in both the physical world and the digital one. 11. Every adversity carries the seed of equal or greater benefit. Adversity is an inevitable part of life. It comes to us all in different forms: setbacks, disappointments, failures, challenges, and obstacles. But while many view adversity as a sign of defeat, I have long understood that it is, in fact, the birthplace of success. Every adversity carries within it the seed of an equal or greater benefit, if you have the vision to see it. I have always taught that setbacks are not the end of the road, but rather the beginning of a new chapter. The very nature of adversity is that it forces you to grow, to adapt, to rethink your strategies and your approach. Those who understand this law do not fear adversity. They embrace it because they know that within it lies the potential for something greater. In my time, this concept was revolutionary. People viewed hardship as something to avoid, something to escape. But I saw it as the catalyst for transformation. I saw that the most successful individuals were those who faced adversity head-on and used it to propel themselves forward. In fact, some of the greatest successes were born from the most significant challenges. Now, in your modern world, adversity is more prevalent than ever. The events of the past few years, the global pandemic, the rapid disruption of industries, and the unforeseen challenges facing the world have presented more adversity than many thought possible. Yet, in the wake of this adversity, something extraordinary has occurred. Consider the pandemic, for example. It disrupted economies, forced businesses to close, and radically changed the way we work. But it also sparked the greatest shift in work culture that the world has ever seen. Remote work became the norm, and businesses quickly realized that productivity could thrive outside the office. Entire industries pivoted, and new careers were born, careers that didn't even exist before. The pandemic was a great adversity, but within it was the seed of a new, more flexible and global workforce. People discovered new ways of working, new ways of collaborating, and new ways of living. And then there is the disruption brought by artificial intelligence. The rise of AI has caused panic in some circles, with many fearing job loss and technological obsolescence. Yet, just as with every great disruption in history, the rise of AI is giving birth to entirely new careers and industries. Opportunities for those willing to learn, adapt, and innovate are growing at an exponential rate. AI, like all adversities, comes with its challenges, but it also carries with it the potential for a new era of opportunity. Lastly, the creator economy, which has exploded in recent years, is another example of adversity fostering growth. The traditional models of earning a living were disrupted by social media, content creation, and the digital platforms that now support creators. What once seemed like a difficult and uncertain path has turned into a thriving industry that provides countless individuals with financial freedom and creative expression. Adversity does not come to destroy you. It comes to teach you, to challenge you, and to provide you with the opportunity for reinvention. Every hardship you face carries the seed of something greater, and it is up to you to plant that seed and nurture it until it blossoms into your greatest success. As I've shared with you today, the principles of success I outlined decades ago are more relevant than ever. The world may have changed, but the laws of achievement remain constant. It is your thoughts, your decisions, your persistence, and your environment that shape your future. The opportunity for greatness lies within you, just as it always has. It is up to you to harness the power of these principles and take action. Remember, success is not a matter of chance. It's a matter of choice. Choose to live with purpose, and the world will open up to you.